Hello, Sula here from MistyHilltops.com. Thanks for stopping by. In this video, I'm working on a 6x6 double-page spread titled Fabulous Day. And I'll be scrapping a number of photos, and I'm working with a digital scrapbook kit, Winds of Change by Traci Reed and Zoe Pearn from Sweetshoppe Designs. So I chose to work with a pattern paper in the background, and then to put a strip of paper that goes along the middle or the center of the page, and then there's paper strips at the top and the bottom of that strip, because usually it should be one large strip, but I wanted to save myself paper and ink. It's much easier to fit smaller elements on a print page that I want to print, and so I try to get my pieces as small as I can so that I can fit more on the page. When there's big designs, then there is often that a page is only half filled, but the other parts are too big to fill out the page, so I prefer to work with smaller elements that I can fit more of onto a page that I want to print. So actually I made a similar page already earlier with a similar design, but I just loved the paper, and I thought the way with this design, it just worked out well to have those pattern papers that I really wanted to show. And so even though it's a similar design, it's still obviously a different kit. Everything is different, photos are different, so I didn't mind having a page that was quite similar but still looks very different, because it is using different materials and all that. So here now with the second page, now it's easy to align just where the other strip is, and I'm just starting to align the strips there, and then I can work my way with the other strips. So once I start, the starting point is always the difficult part, but once the first page is done, it's easy aligning the second page there. So these are two 6x6 paper sizes or scrapbook sizes. I like to scrap with smaller projects, not such big ones that are 12 by 12, but other than that, they work almost exactly like 12 by 12. My elements are smaller. I guess I would use more element clusters on a bigger layout, but I'm very happy with using these smaller ones, and the photos still show all the details that I want to see, and so I like working with these smaller designs, and they're certainly easier to store than the big 12 by 12 projects. So anyway, this was of a day. I was in school and working on just another degree, and so our class was having a little field trip to this little French town that is like this cutest comic book little French town. Like, you really think like you're in an animated movie of some sort. So really cute, and all the houses, like I could take pictures of every single house in that little town. So we walked around that town. There was even a little Christmas store, and it was in the middle of summer, July, and so it was really funny to walk into this world of Christmas in the middle of the year. But anyway, so here I am arranging everything, and I'm starting with laying things out, so I have an about idea where all the pieces, the elements go on this page. And then I use this strip of paper that goes across the page to know where that center line is between the two pages, so that I will not have photos go across that line, so that when I cut it apart, because that big circle now holds the two pages together, and that is obviously they will be cut apart again at the end, and so I need to know where the center line is, and so I use this little paper strip there to put across to give me a little guideline there. And then once I have this row of pictures glued down, the other pictures are pretty easy, because all I need to do is to align them with that row of photos. Now here, the tricky part is I wanted to center that between the three, where on the left side there are 3 photos, on the right side there's this one portrait photo, and so I wanted that to be somewhat centered with a 3, but still keep that center line in mind. So I had to move a little bit around so to get an idea of where that photo should go. And then here's the little circle that will go on this side, and then I can have the other photos there glued down. And here again, I'm making sure that, because it's a similar setup as on the other page, so I want to make sure that I line up the photos at the same place where I have the other photos arranged. So I use that paper strip again to help me with the alignment there. Obviously, I would need a much larger strip of paper if I was scrapping a double page 12 by 12 layout, but with the small layouts, this is just easily done. And then this one again goes centered, and then these 2 are also somewhat centered there. Then I have this little, the title that I stamped and then fussy cut, and then I have some embellishments. Some of the embellishments came with the digital kit, and I just fussy cut them. Others are just flowers from my die cut set. Then I used, for example, this key I just printed from my Silhouette store. Usually it's supposed to be cut, but I just, as I was printing already and I needed to fill out a little more paper space there, and I needed more elements for this page, so I created a couple of the elements to go for this spread, just to print. And then I use my label dies to cut them into nice labels, and then that makes a nice addition to 2 other elements there. So again, a lot of the things that I use label dies, various label dies, because they give nice shapes. And then I have my word strips, of course, and here's my journaling. So I type it out and cut it with the rest of the things, and then I wait until I'm almost ready to glue it down, so that I don't have to puzzle together how the journaling goes, but I can just one by one lay it on the page where it needs to go, and then start gluing it down, so it all works fine, and it saves me a little bit of time, rather than if I just started cutting things out right from the start, and then I'd have to figure out what was it saying, how was it going. So anyway, this is where I have to still cut a few pieces. The lengths are different for each strip. I try to adjust the lengths according to what's written on it, and I like it when it's not the same length of all the paper strips there. And so here I put this in the corner where I also have my title for this spread. The one thing that is kind of a disadvantage when you are working with a small scale scrapbook layout is that I do not have much space for titles, and I do have dies that I like to use, alpha dies, but a lot of times there's not room for enough to have a long title, so I have to work with smaller titles or smaller stamps and then fussy cut them out, which I don't really like fussy cutting. I think it takes a lot of time, and so it's not my favorite, and I try to avoid it. So sometimes my pages won't have a title, and just the overall theme of the page is the title. But for here, I was willing to do the little fussy cutting there, and I managed to have similar stamping ink as the colors of the kit, and so that worked out fine. Here I'm still working my way through arranging the clusters, and I like clustering some, and there's more that gets added. I have more word strips. Then there are some flowers still that need to go someplace. So the clustering, I think, are somewhat the funnest parts of the page, to put the pages together and see how it turns into something beautiful. So I still want also the pattern paper to still have ample room to be seen. I don't like them to be all covered up. So there's just a lot of things that I try to keep in mind as I put together a page like this. And so now it's up to pretty much one of the last clusters there. I think I still need to glue down the title cluster over there if I'm not mistaken. And then I have a couple of flowers that are left over that I still need to put somewhere. And as I like clustering, I don't mind finding places where more places to put them there. So as usual, I try to stick with 3 main clusters. There's still that little cluster around the title, but I try to create this visual triangle there. So finally, I'm ready to flip this page around and cut it apart. I use the back side because there I can see the line there very clearly, and this is my page done. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to leave you with some more close-ups. Consider giving this a thumbs up, consider subscribing, and I hope you have a great day. Thanks for watching. Bye.